Hello, my friends. My name is Jeremy Siskind. I am the author and dropper of these books: Jazz Piano Fundamentals, Jazz Piano Fundamentals Book 2, Auga, Auga, Playing Solo Jazz Piano. I'm working on my sound effects. I hired a guy. I hope you're appreciating all of the work that I'm putting in. Okay. But we've got stuff to do. If you've been paying attention to this channel, you might know that I'm really interested in pentatonic voicings, right? Pentatonic voicings are so cool because they're very movable, but at the same time, they're very consonant. I'll link you to some videos about how to find pentatonic voicings and some interesting experiments with pentatonic voicings if this is like brand new to you. But what I want to talk about today is using pentatonic voicings on 2-5-1 progressions, because this is one of the nicest ways that we can get a modal sound onto a 2-5-1 progression. So if you've ever kind of wondered, you've listened to somebody play a standard and they've given it a modal sound, there's multiple ways to do that, but pentatonic voicings can be one way. So I want to run you through some different possibilities for pentatonic voicings on major and minor 2-5-1s. And we're going to kind of go deeper and deeper into modal sounds. So don't stop this video. We're going to get to some interesting things that sound more and more out, okay? I know that's something a lot of folks yearn for. Okay, so let's get to work. Major 2-5-1. First thing that I'm going to say might be a little unexpected, but here we're going to use the same scale, the same pentatonic scale and voicings for the 2 and the 5 chord. Those are going to be linked together here. And the reason is that we often make the 5 chord more of like a sus sound when we're playing in a modal context. And so this would be like a G sus 7. And the D minor 7 and the G sus 7 are pretty much the same chord, right? They're highlighting the same notes. It's just a matter of whether a G is on bottom or not. So they're going to use the same pentatonic scale. You might hear Kat in the background. Just ignore her. She likes to be vocal sometimes. Okay, so I'm going to give you a primary and secondary pentatonic scale for each one. And what this means is essentially the primary is going to be the one that you rest on, that you highlight, that you play for long notes. And the secondary is going to be one that you kind of move through, that you use to ornament the secondary scale. And what's really nice for major 2-5-1s is we're going to have the same 2 scales, but they're just going to flip which is primary and which is secondary. And this makes a lot of sense if you think about it, because these 3 chords, D minor 7, G7, C major 7, all have the same notes, but the difference is which notes get emphasized, right? And so we're going to use the same notes for the voicings, but we're going to switch which notes and which voicings get emphasized. So I want to use the F pentatonic scale, and I'm talking all in major pentatonics here, as the primary for the first 2 chords, and then the G pentatonic scale is secondary, and then we're going to reverse those. Okay, so let's look at how that actually works. So here's how that 2-5-1 sounds, so you can get it in your ear. So here's your primary pentatonic voicings for the first half. And when we add the secondary, it adds a lot of color, right? And then as we get to the C major, those 2 things are going to flip. Here's your primary. So the full 2-5-1 might sound like this. Pretty cool. We're going to come back and add some more things to that. Minor 2-5-1s, as always, more complicated, more high maintenance than major 2-5-1s. So these are going to use melodic minor pentatonic scales. And not everybody, I think, uses the same terminology here, so let me just make sure I define that. When I talk about melodic minor pentatonic, I'm talking about just like a major pentatonic with a flat 3. So, for instance, if these 5 notes make up C major pentatonic, that's going to be C melodic minor pentatonic, according to my nomenclature. So, here we're going to use primary F melodic minor pentatonic. I'm calling it F minor 6, because that indicates melodic minor often. And then as a secondary, we use B flat major. And then on C minor 6, we use the C minor 6 pentatonic. And then as a secondary, we'll use F. Okay, so showing you how this sounds now. So get that minor 2-5-1 in your ear first. So on this first F, sound. I think it's really nice. Now, we're going to go increasingly modal. And so one of the things that we can do using modal interchange is we can change out the tonics here. Whoa. All right. Sorry about that. So as a tonic chord, instead of regular C major 7 using the Ionian mode, we could change it out to C major 7 sharp 11 using the Lydian mode. In which case, we're going to use D pentatonic, the pentatonic of the 2, as the primary, and I like using G here as the secondary. So the sound then is... Okay, so pretty surprising Lydian sound. So now listen to that 2-5-1 together, and I'll let you see what I'm playing here. Similarly, we often use a Dorian mode in modal playing instead of using melodic minor for the 1 chord of the minor 2-5-1. And if we do that, I would use E flat major, which is the same as C minor pentatonic, as your primary, and I'd keep F as the secondary. So now if you listen to that whole thing together, we get that really nice combination of sounds. Now, this last one I need to look at my notes for a little bit because I'm still remembering. But if we do want to get more of the sound of 3 distinct chords rather than lumping that 2 and the 5 chord together, we can use side steps, either from above or from below, for the 5 chord. Oftentimes, when we really want that modal sound, a side step replaces the dominant chord. So, for our side step, and this, by the way, is going to work for both major and minor. For a side step from below, we could use G flat as our primary and F as our, not F, and E as our secondary. So, here's how this sounds within the context of this major 2-5-1. I'm sure you want to see what I'm playing here. Listen one more time. So definitely very modal, a little bit out sounding. And if we want to sidestep from above, well, before we do that, let me just point out how nice this is, because we go from F to G flat to G. Pentatonic, we're going by half steps. Right, so very lovely to have that G flat pentatonic featured. Conversely, like I said, we could go a sidestep from above, right? And when I say sidestep, it's because we're leading into that G pentatonic by a half step. So colorful to finally add that sidestep to the 5 chord and really distinguish that 5 chord from the 2 chord. All right, folks, your head is probably spinning from theory. If you're anything like me, I hope you enjoyed that. If you enjoyed it, I think you probably had a good level for playing solo jazz piano. I think you're maybe a little too advanced for the Jazz Piano Fundamentals series. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, why don't you comment with the word pentagram? I don't know what that means, but it seems interesting, seems fancy. See y'all soon.